Hello everyone, welcome back to Bits and Bob's Divination. My name is Caitlin, and today we're going to be reading into the energy, insights, and guidance coming in for your week ahead. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so I want to say a huge welcome back, as always, to each of those who come in and support me with these weekly videos and monthly videos every single Monday. It means so much to me to have you guys here because this channel is very small. It is still growing, but this community is strong and full of wonderful, like-minded people, and it really does warm my heart to see you guys all here. So thank you for coming back. I hope to bring wonderful, positive energy through these messages into your life today. And to those of you who are new and would like to join this channel or join in on these types of readings. I do these readings for your week ahead every single Monday, as well as blessings videos for your month that you can check out after this video if you're interested. And also I do timeless videos and some coming up here soon that I'm very excited about. So if you're also excited, feel free to subscribe and join in by hitting the notification bell so you can be notified of each of these videos as they come out in real time, because YouTube isn't always the best at letting you guys know when my videos come out, and I don't want them to get lost in the hustle and bustle of the big YouTube. So with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and start looking through these piles with you. Alright, so for pile number 1, here we have I believe these are all maple leaves, but I'm not entirely 100% sure. So if I'm wrong, feel free to let me know if you know specifically what this comes from. But here we have a yellow sort of, orange and red leaf, as well as this piece of jade. So if this pile is resonating for you, then this might be the pile for you. For pile 2, we have the very red maple leaf. These were all pressed about last year for me. So we have the red maple leaf alongside the tiger's eye, or also known as cat's eye. So those are your two for pile number 2. And lastly, for pile number 3, we have here this orange leaf, as well as this piece of hematite. So if this is resonating for you, then pile 3 might be the pile for you. So I'm going to go ahead, as always, and have us take a deep breath together so that you can make a better decision and use your intuition to figure out which pile is really calling out to you. So let's go ahead and take that deep breath now. And as always, I will have the timestamps down below that you can click on so you can find your specific pile and jump right to it, as well as the chapter marks within the video that I've provided for you guys as well, to make it as easily accessible as possible. And if you're still not sure which pile is for you, feel free to hover your finger over the pile or hover your hand over each of the piles. And if a certain pile is giving you this sort of tingly feeling, or your intuition is just really speaking to you in some sort of sense, then that might be the pile for you. If you feel like more than one pile is speaking to you, that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no right or wrong way to choose your piles. You can choose all 3, just 2, or just 1. And you can always, if you feel like you get to pile 2 and it's just not really speaking to you, head on over to pile 1 or pile 3. There's no right or wrong way to do this. And with that said, we're going to go ahead and get started with pile number 1. Hello, group 1. If you've decided to choose this yellow and orange pressed leaf, as well as this chunk of jade, then this is the pile for you. I'm going to set it down right here for you so you can see this during your reading. Today we're going to be using the charms, the watercolor affirmations, as well as the Muse Tarot, the Spellcasting Oracle, and these Celtic Lenormand deck oracle cards. So let's go ahead and dive in. Like I stated before, we're just going to go into the weekly messages that you have coming in. I hope the previous weeks have been treating you well, and the month as well. So let's see what's going on. So group one, we're looking for group one. Any energy, insights, or guidance coming in for group one for their week ahead, the week ahead messages for group one. What do we need to know about the energy of the week for group one? Okay, so we have here the Three of Voices, the Fool. Let's see what else you have coming in for your week, group one. So group one, we're looking for any energy, insights, or guidance. So you also have here the 10 of Voices, as well as the Ace of Pentacles for you this week, group one. So before I go into all of this, let's go ahead and look at your Celtic Lenormand message. So group one, we're looking for any energy, insights, or guidance for group one's week ahead. The week ahead for group one. Any energy, insights, or guidance. Here we are right here. All right, very fitting with all of the things that I'm already seeing here. So here you have the Scythe, I believe is how you say it. And it has the number 10 here, so these numbers might resonate with you guys specifically for birthdays or other specific things having to do with your week. So that's something to keep in mind, or something that happened in previous weeks, maybe on the 10th. You also have here the Jack of Diamonds or the Knight of Pentacles, so that's something to keep in mind as well. So next up is the Spellcasting Oracle, so let's see what that has for you in store this week. So group one, we're looking for any energy, insights, or guidance coming in for group one's week ahead and weekly messages. Any guidance that we need to hear from for group one. Group one. Energy, insights, or guidance for group one. All right, you guys have here financial health, which is very fitting. I'm getting sort of a picture here. So I'll talk about that in just one more second. Let's do your last message here before we do the charms later on in the video, so stay tuned for those. Group one, we're looking for any energy, insights, or guidance for group one's week ahead, the week ahead for group one. All right, so you had this one pop up here, and it says, use your voice. Use your voice. Speak up this week. Speak your truth. That is what this card speaks on. So, wow, you guys have a more almost liberating week, I feel like, because you have two cards talking about a new beginning, right? And then you have two cards showcasing, possibly past energy or energy you're having to work through this week of heartbreak or things that are just, they're not working out. They didn't work out. You can feel that it is wrong for you in some way. And it's just feeling like you might be feeling trapped, or like there's these closed doors, or you feel like nobody is understanding you. And with the Three of Voices, it can showcase not only like physically hurting, but it can also just be like hurt in a more mental way. So maybe words had been said to you and you're feeling like you can't talk to somebody about it, but there's definitely an urge here to use your voice, talk to somebody. Somebody wants to listen, someone who you can trust and you can really trust and know that they have support and they can back you up. Don't go to the people whom, may seem easier, but they aren't really going to be there for you. It just needs to be someone you can really, lean on. So there you have the Three of Voices, but then you also have here the Ten of Voices, and the Ten of Voices talks more about, how she has, it's again another sword card, because voices represent swords or air energy, which talks about communication. And I think there's been a lot of miscommunication or communication that hasn't been said, things that aren't being said. And I think you're holding and bottling too much of it, and it's literally piercing you, and you're just going to keep it bottled in, and it's not really working for you. And I think what you might be holding off on is maybe something has happened. Maybe you're ready to start in a new career or a new career path or a new passion of yours that you're wanting to pursue, because you have the Ace of Materials here, which represents a new, this can represent moving house, or needing, not really moving house, but thinking about moving house or getting a new location. But it also represents a new career path, a new way of gaining prosperity in your life, a new business that you possibly are starting up. So that's really exciting, and I think maybe someone's just not hearing you. They're not looking at what you truly want, or you feel like maybe words have been said and they just sort of hit you like a knife. And I understand that feeling. It doesn't feel good. No one likes to say a huge idea of something you really want to pursue and then be like, nah, you can't do that, you don't have that. But that's not true, because you not only have this, but you also have the Fool and financial health on your side. So that's another big indication that you're definitely at the beginning, because the Fool represents that you truly believe in what you want to set your mind to. You believe wholeheartedly that you have passion for this, whether this is starting a business, whether it's starting a new career path, getting a promotion, wanting to just anything that you need to do, uprooting something that you were possibly at and moving to something better for yourself. There's going to be good finances that come out of that, prosperity that comes out of that. It's not going to be easy. Trees don't just grow overnight. They have to take time. They have to mature. They have to learn how to, survive in their environment. But I think you believe in yourself. I think you believe that you can. But maybe people are trying to put you down, and it's important to use your voice. Be concise. Tell people what you need to. Tell your truth. And if they don't understand that, then that is their own problem. They probably have some other issue, some sort of, maybe they had a business they wanted to start up and they see themselves in you. I almost am getting that with the Ten of Voices here, because it kind of looks like a reflection, right? I think that people are sort of pressing their ideas, their thoughts, their insecurities on you, because maybe they didn't take that path. Maybe they don't understand it, or don't, know where exactly it's coming from, but you do. Look at how much you're flourishing. Look at this. It's so much better. So I think you guys might be having a more heavy week, a more difficult week possibly to deal with, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to have a positive outcome, especially with this Fool and the financial health. So it's just take that leap of faith, and it doesn't mean you have to just go all in one day, but it is showcasing, just speak your truth. That is a big one that I'm getting here for you guys today. You also have here the Scythe, and the Scythe represents endings. It's sort of like the Death card in Lenormand. So it's you needing to cut away something to eventually grow those crops again the next year. So you have to cut away or end something to begin something. Beginnings hide themselves in endings, right? So you can't have one without the other. And I think you're learning that you might want to start a new step, but that means that you have to cut away maybe some of those ties that you had before, or cut away these ideas that other people have and have pressed on you, and sort of cleanse yourself from those. Great ways of cleansing is just journaling down all of your thoughts. Even if you feel like you can't talk to someone else, talk to yourself, talk to your higher self. I think that can be really beneficial for you. So that's a really big message as well. A lot of your messages are really just jiving together here. Outside of career, though, you could just be going through something more difficult, maybe in a relationship or something as well. So that's something to keep in mind. But I think that you're starting a new journey, and the amount of cards that you have overshadowing the negative is far greater. So just enjoy some of these positive aspects and deal with the ones that are possibly more negative for you. as they are a necessary step for you to grow those crops, right? Like, so you can grow and flourish and become this like bouquet of beautiful flowers and grow your roots, make those boundaries and tell people what they need to hear from you. And if they, again, don't understand that, they don't understand that, then that is their own problem. But, search for your own truth, your own sun, this whole galaxy. You have so much that you are capable of, and I want you to know that. But with all of that said, let's go ahead and move on to your charms group 1, because I don't want you to miss out on some of those messages. So let's go ahead and look at those. So group 1, we're looking for any energy, insights, or guidance coming in for group 1. For their week ahead. Okay, so not a lot in your center, but I think this one fell on my arm and totally distracted me when we first started, and I think that was an important message for your week and just sort of jumped out at me, so I feel like I need to pop that right into the center there for you. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start looking at some of these messages here and seeing what pops up. You guys don't have a lot, surprisingly, but you did have a pretty clear message coming in from your previous messages, so I'm not too surprised, to be completely honest there. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and zoom you in so you can look at these messages here with me. So let's do that real quick, and I'm just going to move this forward so you can see it a little bit better. That looks better. Alright, so first off, the one that jumped out at me. So this is a paper star. So it represents a transformation or something that you're manifesting forward, you're creating for yourself, right? Because this started out as just plain old paper, but you saw potential in it. You saw that this could be a star and you made it happen, right? You made that success happen and you put your intention into it. So this represents transformation and manifestation through hard work, through, you having to be innovative, having to think through things. So that's really interesting already that you have popping in, that even came in for you. And then I was just curious what was on the inside, because it's been so long since I've opened this little guy up. But what I had written inside, I think, really has a message there for you. And it says, it's not really showing up, but it says here, never go too long without a sunset. So that represents putting something to rest. We have to cleanse ourselves, purge things from our lives, because otherwise those things will bottle up. Those things will become, reflected in our own life and how we feel about it. And I think it's time to just start over. You don't have to start completely over, but just start making those steps forward, start putting some of that behind. So never go too long without a sunset is, I just think, a really big reminder that it's time to sort of cut some of those crops away so you can grow again. Cut some of it away. It's just like when people feel lighter when they get a haircut. It's that same feeling. It's time to just cut away what no longer serves you, so that you can transform and flourish and grow what you want to. So that's a really big message for your week, is transformation, seeing things as they can be versus what they might not be based off of other people's opinions, or even doubts that you've put in your own mind too, because these can also represent your own doubts. Right, with the 3 of voices here, it can be your own voice sort of attacking you, and that's why I think journaling is really important too. Put in all those pros and cons and make that pros list as long as you can. Bring in some of that energy, really just run with it. Sometimes I like, for my manifestations, to write in a journal, especially since this is a paper star. It's just making me feel like journaling is really important for you, to just journal about not what it would be like if you had that new job or new career, whatever path you are looking for, but rather that you already have it. Talk about it as if you just got home from work or something like that, and it can really change your perspective. So maybe try that out this week for yourself. We also have the letter R here, so that might have to do with the change that you'd like to bring in, or maybe what you're trying to bring out, whichever one. Could be a name, could have to relate to a person, a place, a business. So look out for that with the letter R. You also have the letter D over here, or sorry, not D, Q. I thought it was D. Q over here. So this can also, whenever I see the Q, I think of questioning. So you're sort of questioning yourself. That's also why I was sort of getting that feeling, I think, of that you might not know what you want yet. So that's also something too to think about. But I think you have passion, you have excitement for what you want, because this is the happy heart. So this represents putting in a lot of work and effort, and you know that what you want to go after is going to make you happy. It's going to make your heart happy, make your emotions feel more happy and fluid. Yet you might be feeling blocked by that because here is closure. So you might have to, with the closure charm, if you close something up and it gets too full, you pop a button, right? So this is actually a button that has popped off of one of my pairs of jeans, which represents you just needing to reevaluate the situation. Maybe I needed to get some new jeans to just start anew. But some people might see it as there's something wrong. But it just depends on your perspective. So maybe even a change in mindset could be really important to you this week. And again, like that journaling about what could be versus what has been, or your doubts and fears. You also have here the dragonfly, and the dragonfly represents something that flutters in really fast. So you might be feeling the doubts might be coming in because it just might be moving too fast. These ideas that you have, or you might just be feeling like it's just possibly overwhelming because the 10 of voices, which I showed earlier with her sort of in that picture, you might just be feeling like things are just moving slightly too fast in what you're wanting, or maybe that is what's caused some of this, these people possibly not understanding where you're coming from. But as long as you have that belief in yourself and you know your truth and own your truth, that's going to be the most important for you, and you can work out the logistics later on. And if you guys work with any religious figures, like any spirits or deities or gods, goddesses, anything like that, that's kind of what this represents, a spiritual element within your life, a spiritual leader within your life, someone you look up to in that kind of way, a mentor. This is sort of what that represents. So maybe you need to speak with them, communicate with them to find a clear image, or just look for those signs, because you have the bolt here, which represents, working together. It also represents bolting down, really getting to it. So ground yourself down, and then you might even use tarot or other sorts of spiritual divination practices to speak with them. And if not, then if you can speak with them, word for word, that's awesome. But it's going to bring in clarity for you. It's going to help you get a clearer image on what you're looking for and maybe steps in which to move forward, because here you have the clarity charm. So there is something there of maybe chalking it out with them, or just in general having those conversations this week. You also have here the cycles charm. So this doesn't represent breaking cycles necessarily, but it also is the key ring. So it might be, for me, I'm seeing more the key ring in this case, because you have a lock over here with no key. So you might be feeling like you just don't have the supplies, and that might be overwhelming you. The research in which to move forward, you're excited about it, you have passion for this thing that you want to do, but maybe that doubt that you're worried about might be coming from possibly not having the supplies or the knowledge. But like I said, maybe talking to someone higher up, or just getting a mentor or someone you can learn from in, YouTube even. You don't have to be right in front of the person, because you have the fish charm. So it can mean just keep swimming, but this charm also means, teach a man to fish is more important than just going out and getting all the fish themselves. I don't know exactly how that saying goes, but basically if you teach a man to fish, they're going to be able to, you know, provide for their family for the rest of their lives. If you just get them the fish all the time, then when it comes down to it and you're not there, they're not going to be providing for themselves. So this is your time to research those things, really go, you know, deep, get knees deep into this stuff and really learn, test things out, try some things out. Maybe it's a bit risky, but it is, you know, you're learning, so that's cool. It's growth. You have to have that full energy, right, and that belief in yourself to move forward. And your last charm over here was the heart that is locked. So this might mean just, you know, people might have hurt your feelings through the words that they've said recently, and this can be even outside of the job or career side of things, especially with that three of voices in this deck. You just might be feeling a little closed off emotionally, especially around that specific person, and that's okay. But it's right after the release moon of the last quarter moon, so I'm seeing that you're heading towards a new beginning, but to get to that new beginning, you might have to forgive someone or just find your own personal closure. That doesn't necessarily have to be with them, but as long as you can find closure there, that's most important. So with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and do a recap for your week, group 1. So use your voice this week. Tell people your truth. Be honest with yourself. Possibly journaling is really big this week. You also had the 10 of voices, so you might be reflecting on your doubts or your fears. You might be feeling overwhelmed about all of this excitement. Even if you have passion, it doesn't mean that you know, aren't worried about it or have these doubts, and that's completely fine, completely valid, very real emotions. But, you know, just look into it, see why you're feeling these things, and sometimes that can even clear some of that up. So that's another message there. You also had financial health, the Fool, and the Ace of Pentacles. So I think you guys are starting a new business venture, something new in a career path, something for having to do with your finances or your physical health or something like that is coming in, and that's really exciting for you guys. Just start small. You don't have to start big, and that's really cool. Just believe in yourself and believe what you're doing, and that'll flourish. Because it's ready to get that you're ready to get that haircut. You're ready to move forward and make that cut, right? So I think you're ready to put some things to rest, to purge, to change things out, you know, change up your room, change up your style, or change up your career. Something in there could be really helpful and beneficial to you this week. So with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys with those messages. I'm really excited for you guys. Whatever this new start is, please let me know. I'm ready to amp you guys up, hype you guys up, because I'm really excited for you. I can feel such good passion and energy, but I just don't feel like you guys are sure about it yet, and that's okay. So with all of that said, please let me know in a comment down below what you think about this reading, if and how it resonated for you specifically. I'm always super curious, so never feel shy or anything. Feel free to let me know. And also feel free to give this video a like. It really does help the channel and lets me know that you really enjoy these types of weekly readings or the types of readings that I do. So to those of you who have already liked the video, thank you so much. I appreciate it. You know, it's such a small little thing, and I appreciate it so much. And lastly, if you are new to the channel, welcome, and thank you so much for watching and reading here with me today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to join this wonderful community of wonderful, magical people and join in on these weekly readings, monthly readings, and timeless readings that I bring out, feel free to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on each of these readings that I put out. So with all of that said, I hope you guys have a wonderful week and that things go really well for you and you find your voice and your passion. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. Hello group 2. If you've decided to choose this very red pressed maple leaf, or at least I believe it is maple, as well as this piece of cat's eye or tiger's eye, then this is the pile for you. Set your leaf and tiger's eye right down here so you can see it during the reading. Today we're going to be using the charms, the watercolor affirmations, the Muse Tarot, the Spellcasting Oracle, as well as these Celtic Lenormand cards in an oracle fashion. So with all of that said, let's go ahead and get started looking into your weekly messages. I hope you guys had a wonderful week last week and that the month so far has been treating you well. But let's go ahead and look into your week currently coming in. So group two. Had to change my position. Group two. We're looking for any information, insights, or energy coming in for your week ahead. Here you have the 7 of materials. Let's see what else is coming in. Group two. We're looking for any information on Group 2's week ahead. You also have here, taking the rug with me, the Muse of Inspiration. See your last message here. Group 2. We're looking for any information, energy, insights, or guidance coming in for Group 2's week ahead. And the 6 of Voices. So there are your messages here. You have the Muse of Inspiration, the 6 of Voices, and the 7 of Materials. Interesting that you had a 6 and a 7 so closely there, as that gives like a little extra layer. Let's also look at your Celtic Lenormand message for the week. So Group 3. Wow. Resetting the deck. Group 2. We're looking for Group 2's messages for the week ahead. The week ahead for Group 2. Okay. You got here the home. Which honestly already fits into what I was getting because of the 6 of Voices. So there might be a very clear message here. But the home has the number, in case these resonate with some of you, the number 4 here at the top corner, as well as the King of Hearts, or in other words in tarot, the King of Cups. So there is your Celtic Lenormand message. Let's look at your Spellcasting Oracle message here for the week. Group 2. We're looking for any information, energy, or insights for Group 2's week ahead. Any energy, insights, or guidance coming in for Group 2. Wow, okay. So here it is. It like exploded out. You have Justice. So that's really interesting how it just like needed to be heard. So that feels really prevalent for your week already. Group 2. So let's see lastly here before we do the charms later on in the video. So stay tuned for those. These watercolor affirmations. So Group 2. We're looking for any energy, insights, or guidance coming in for Group 2. Group 2 for their week ahead. Group 2. Alright, these ones kind of just fell in my hand, but this one fell backwards, so I'm just going to take this one. And it says here, chill out. More messages that are very much aligning with what I was already getting for your week. I'm trying to make it so you guys can see all of them, but it's been kind of difficult with the Muse. So first off, there feels like a very distinct message, and this might be specific for only a few of you. But some of you might be moving house recently or changing location, moving to a new location, possibly moving in your jobs to a new location, a new studio space, something like that where you're in transition between one space and another. Because you have here the 6 of Voices, which tells me that you're going on a journey. This can represent literally going on a journey, so you could be traveling, some of you, but it also can kind of tap into like change of, like your actual location, moving to a new city or a new place, So that's something to keep in mind. It can be that you're even just traveling, so it might just be that you're traveling through a new place, a place you haven't gone to before, maybe someone's house you've never been to before, something like that, or just traveling in general is a big message there. But what's interesting is that you also got the house. So I was already getting that message, and then you have the house here. So that's definitely coming in for some of you, or maybe you're just changing around your house, moving it in terms of like the energy, maybe changing the energy around. So if you guys work with magic at all, hearth magic or anything like that, could be really big. House magic, cottage witchery, stuff like that might be really prevalent for some of you at this time. So that's something to keep in mind as well. But what is also coming in is the Seven of Materials, and seeing as it has to do with moving, that we've kind of been seeing movement or travel, maybe some of you are having to put some of your travel plans on hold, which has happened for a lot of us this year. I totally understand that if that is prevalent for you this week. That sucks. Maybe you're having to have some delays or just having to wait things out, because the Seven of Materials, I was going to say pentacles, which they are pentacles in this deck. It showcases like she's watering her plants, things are flourishing as she goes, but you also have to let your plants rest, right? You can't water them every single day. You're going to, injure them or hurt them, or eventually they will die. So you have to find that balance there. And at the moment, sometimes that means you're going to have to wait things out. You have to be patient. Just wait as things sort of manifest or work into the world. So if you are doing any manifestation, anything you're trying to do magically, or just in general, if this has to do with moving house or travel plans being delayed, then that really sucks. But I think that you guys are going to be fine. It's just going to be a small delay. It's going to eventually flourish, right? You just can't be looking at it at all times, because you also have here chill out. So I think that some of you might be feeling a little, down about this information of having to wait things out. But you have chill out. So it means just chill out a little bit this week. Find something that's going to make you feel calm and chill and like relaxed. So maybe watch your favorite movie, cozy up in a nice blanket. If it's fall where you are, enjoy that fall weather. Go on that walk. That's another way to travel. Maybe find other ways to travel you might not have been able to before, because the Seven of Materials is taking that rest. As later on it will flourish by the Nine of Pentacles or the Nine of Materials in this deck. So it might be that for some of you, the reason why you aren't able to move house right now or change your location or even travel has to do with, financial reasons, but it also can have to do with justice. So societal systems, things that are in the way, rules and regulations, maybe leasing, things like that have to do with like the justice system, or have to do more with all that paperwork. It also can have to do with something having to do more specifically with law. So these are things that could be very specific to some of you, and in general, it can mean just in general this card represents balance, because it's sort of like the Libra card, and we're in Libra season right now as I film this anyways, even though this is a timeless reading. Whenever you guys find this video, I believe that it's found you when you needed it, but I think that you need to chill out and find your balance this week as well. So it's kind of a double card here. So it's sort of, for some of you, it might have to do more with this moving situation or travel situation, and maybe societal reasons why you can't, or paperwork reasons why you can't maybe do some of the things that you're interested in doing. But to some of you in general, an all-over message is just while you're chilling out, it's to find your balance, to rebalance yourself in your home as well. So especially if you're moving or changing things up in your house, maybe redecorating or just changing things up in general, you're doing that to find a better balance, because the Six of Voices, outside of just moving and travel, does showcase you needing a change in your mental state, because voices represent our mind, our logic, those sorts of systems. So you might just energetically be feeling like not so great in your home space right now. So this could just be your room, it could be a specific room. So, cleanse your space in whatever way works for you through sound, smoke, walking around, changing the energy, inviting people over, whatever it is that you can safely do that is really encouraged this week. And get a little bit, have a little bit of fun with that, because I think you guys might be taking up a new creative endeavor this week while you're waiting things out. So that could be a new hobby, a new exciting development, something you're filming, something you're just really, really into right now, because the Muse of Inspiration can come in really fast and really quick. And I think you guys are just really enjoying that energy that's coming in. So enjoy it. Just see what kind of cool adventures you guys get up to this week, because it's more about chilling out, watching those movies, not having to worry so much, because if you're having to wait on a legal reason, it's going to manifest over time, and this just isn't the week where everything's going to happen all at once. You might get some news, you might get some things coming in, but it's not going to happen all together at once. So you're going to have to wait things out, and sometimes it's hard to be patient, but while you are, just enjoy that adventurous side of yourself. Really let that passion for exciting adventures, artistic adventures and endeavors that you've never got to try out before, just really go for it. Decorate your home, do something new, splatter the walls, I don't know, whatever you want to take up, something is there. So with all of that said, let's go ahead and move on to your charms, group 2, as we don't want to miss out on those messages that are coming in. So, group 2, looking for any information, energy, or insights for group 2 for their week ahead. Okay, so I dropped a few on the floor and everywhere, as I always do, because I close my eyes while I'm stirring it up, and then I don't realize how tipsy I am sometimes with the bowl. So that is just a part of what happens these days. But I do worry I'm going to lose a charm or two every once in a while, so I have to just check around. So anyways, let's go ahead and sort out these charms that you have coming in for your week and see what comes in. Might have some charms that are just sort of upside down that we've got to evaluate and look into. You've got quite a little cluster happening over here, so I'm really interested to see more of what that is about. So let's just see, shall we? Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and zoom you in, as always, so you guys can see these messages just a little bit more clearly. First off, we have the letter N showing up in your focus ring this week. So this can represent a place that you're possibly moving to, a name, having to do with justice reasons, anything like that. So look into that possibly coming in your week, and being very prevalent. So it's not just going to be something very simple. Although if it feels intuitively very important, then it probably is. That one was upside down. You have the flexibility charm. So this oh wow, I'm going to need to get a new one. Did you guys see that? It is in here. I'm going to try to show you. It is not doing as well as it used to, so I'm going to have to get a new flexibility charm. But you guys are being more flexible with your time, being more flexible with the way that you are dealing with the situation. Like I said, just chill out this week. So just be a little bit more flexible, be a little bit more open, because you also have here the open-faced shell charm. So instead of being all, shelled up, you're still having an open, you're having an open mind to the situation, whether or not it sucks. You're still being very open-minded, letting things come in, letting yourself chill out. So that's really good. Having to do with the Muse of Inspiration here, we have this earring charm, but I always thought it had to do with from one path you sort of created a bunch of new ones. So For you, you might just be starting a new creative endeavor, but because you started it this week, maybe that could even open up some new doors that you didn't realize you had. So that could be something a little extra special happening there this week. You do have the cluster charm. So the cluster charm makes me think you're possibly feeling overwhelmed or very busy this week. And that's also why it's kind of urging you to have that self-care time of chilling out, letting yourself, calm down. So that's something to keep in mind as well, because you have it right next to the busy bee. So you might just be feeling a little busy, a little bit overwhelmed. You've got a lot on your plate. So you just have to chill out and relax a little bit when you have the time. Take those 15 minutes, take that meditation, be mindful of the present moment. Go on those autumn walks if it's autumn where you live. Otherwise, a spring walk would be just as lovely. So take that time, especially with these two little hearts on their wings. It makes me think it has something to do maybe with romance or with people that you love platonically. So maybe hang out with like your sister or your friend or chill out in that way. So that's something else. Especially too because we have sort of the meditation charm, but this also represents a weight, right? Because you guys can't tell, but this is a very heavy charm. So you just have a lot of weight on your shoulders right now. And by meditating, chilling out, turning yourself, churning some of that out is going to be really beneficial. So you guys have a very simple week that I'm already seeing. Like a lot of your stuff has a lot to do with just chilling out, being more open-minded to the entire situation that you might be possibly in right now, being more flexible, letting some of that busyness sort of chill out. So that's a big focus for you this week. Because something has been getting you down, because you have the black heart. This represents, it can mean actual heartbreak, but because of the stuff you have coming in, this is more so giving me the impression that it just, in general, it just sucks, the situation you're in. It just is a sticky, inky, crappy situation, possibly that you're not being able to do what you'd like to do this week, and you're feeling a bit tied up in it all. But whatever it is going to jumpstart eventually, because you have the spring, so you're going to be able to spring forward eventually. It's just going to take a little bit more time than you were expecting. Outside of that, though, with the creative endeavors you have coming in, you have here the treble clef. So this makes me think you guys might be taking up some sort of musical instrument, possibly playing around with music in general, DJing, dancing, or listening to music in general, maybe making really interesting playlists to give to friends. Something really sweet like that would be really lovely to take up this week. So that's sort of a guidance that's coming in, possibly from, if you guys believe in angels or in other sort of winged spirits that you may work with. This is more of an angel wing for me personally, for me it represents like the angels of my ancestors and such. So this can have a personal message to you too, to look for signs within the music that you listen to. So if you guys have clear audience, then that might be something to look into, as you have another winged sort of spirit here as well. So that's sort of a double message. It also represents, with the dragonfly, something coming in really fast, because I don't know if you've ever had a dragonfly near you, but they zoom past you. And it just might mean that there are things that you're wanting to have happen very quickly and speedily, but you're just going to have to still wait those out. And those messages are coming in of possible guidance through music. You also have the patterns charm, which represents patterns that are happening within your life. So this may be not the first time you've ever had to move for this situation. So maybe it's moving for college or for other certain specific aspects like that, something you've already done before. Maybe you're moving to a place you've already been before, something like that, or you've traveled before, but there is a pattern there. And on top of that pattern, you have next to it finances. So it might be like a new career path, meaning like they're going to be changing, maybe you're changing offices or moving in that way, something more small. So you're kind of passing the torch, as you see with this dime. But you also have, again, another sort of partnership charm, because this represents partnership, but it also makes me think of chromosomes. So it makes me think of like our DNA, our physical health, our physicality in the world. So again, those messages might be coming in from ancestors or people who have passed who are very close to you. So look for those signs. possibly through dragonflies, or that these messages are going to come fast through maybe faster songs. So that might be a very specific message for some of you. The other thing I was getting from this patterns, though, is some of you might be interested in sewing as a new hobby for yourself, a new creative hobby, because you use patterns for that. Also, patterns can be useful in other sorts of fiber art, so that'd be really interesting. Let me know if that's something you are sort of thinking about taking up this week. And the last charm that I haven't spoken on is the bobby pin, and the bobby pin represents being selfless, because a bobby pin doesn't get the recognition, but it does hold up your hair. You know, it's a very simple meaning, but it's basically just like you're being selfless. You're maybe putting yourself, maybe you're getting a little bit too busy because you're not putting yourself first, and maybe that's also possibly making things more frustrating for you this week. And that might have been a pattern that you maybe have to work through, a cycle that you've been sort of sticking yourself into lately. And it's important to put yourself first every once in a while. Give yourself those 15 minutes, that little bit of meditation that you need. So with all of these messages said, I'm going to go ahead and do a recap quickly for you guys on your week. Like I said, I feel like some of you might just be trying to move house, move to a new location, travel, or some of those sorts of types of plans, even maybe in the workplace, traveling or moving. Locations could be a thing. So something within that realm, or moving the energy within your house, could be changing this week, and you might be feeling a little like down about it because things aren't moving as quickly as you'd like them, or might not be just advancing the way that you would like, or maybe you've had these delays. So with all of that, you're trying to maybe cleanse your house, maybe get more creative, maybe with this extra time that you have, think about how you're going to decorate this new place, how you're going to change this place. Maybe even you're not even moving house, but you're just changing up your space so much so that it feels like you have. So that's something coming in. Also, it's going to create more balance. You're trying to create more balance within the home, but you're also trying to have to deal with some of these delays coming because of societal reasons or paperwork or justice systems. And lastly, here you had the Muse of Inspiration. So I feel like in the chill out time that you have, the self-care time that you have, you might be taking up a new artistic endeavor, or you're working generally on something very artistic this week and you're very inspired by it. So that might have to do with music or sewing or something having to do with patterns that you have to follow. Music even has patterns within it. And some of those messages could be coming in through music too, from other ancestors or angels this week. So with all of that said, it was quite a lot. You guys had a lot happening, even though they sort of aligned. But I'm very interested to know what you guys thought, how this resonated, if certain charms really spoke out to you, because I always invite you guys to look at these charms further. Feel free to pause the video and let me know if certain ones resonated to you in a different way. I'm always interested to hear your guys' feedback, so feel free and don't be shy. Go ahead and leave a comment down below. And also, please be sure to give this video a like. It really does help this channel grow and flourish, as well as let me know that you really enjoyed this type of reading and these types of readings each week. So I appreciate it so much to each of you who have already liked the video. And lastly, if you are new to the channel, welcome. I hope you guys had a good time here with me today, talking about your different energies for the week. I do these weekly energetic readings for your week every single Monday, as well as timeless and other videos such as blessings videos for your month. So if you're interested in any of that and these types of readings that I do, please consider subscribing. I'd love to have you guys join this community, and it would mean so much for me to have you guys here. So with all of that said, I hope you guys have a wonderful time for your week and that things do resolve themselves in these delays, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Hello Group 3, if you decide to choose this orange leaf, as well as this piece of hematite, then this is the pile for you. I'll go ahead and set them down right here so you can see them during your reading. Today we're going to be using the charms, the watercolor affirmations, as well as the Muse Tarot, the Spellcasting Oracle, and these Celtic Lenormand cards more as an oracle deck as well. So I hope you guys have had a good month so far, and that this last week treated you well and things have been going well for you. And if not, we're also going to get some more information on some of that. So let's go ahead and look into your weekly messages, group 3. So group 3, we're looking for any information, energy, or insights for group 3's week ahead here. All right, so you have the Muse of Voices. So beautiful. Let's see what else you have coming in for your week, group 3. So we're looking for any energy, insights, or guidance coming in for your week here, group 3. You also have here the Lover's card. See your final message here for the week, group 3. Group 3, we're looking for any information, energy, or insights for group 3. That one fell all the way down at my lap. All right, you also have here the Page of Voices. Interesting that you have 2 voices cards here. You guys might be going after something fun and a little bit more funky this week, as well as logical approaches towards things. So let's go ahead and look at your Celtic Lenormand message here. Group 3, we're looking for any information, energy, or insights. All right. You also have here the Rider. So this is the male Rider as well, and you have the number 1. So these numbers might resonate with you in a certain way, specifically and personally. So you have the number 1 as well as the 9 of Hearts, or the 9 of Cups, which represents in tarot having a lot of confidence. But let's go ahead and look at your final card of the mix before we do the next little set here of the affirmations. But group 3, we're looking for any energy, insights, or guidance for group 3. All right, this one was really popping out at me. So here you have lighten your load. So that's a very different message from some of the other ones we were getting. So that might be just another specific message for you this week with lighten your load. So let's see here, your last message before we do the charms later on in the reading. So stay tuned for those. Group 3, we're looking for any energy, insights, or guidance for group 3's week ahead, or weekly messages. Ooh, you had a lot here. Whole little group. All right. So first off, you have here build healthy habits. Then you have keep life simple. And lastly, let go of all you can't control. Interesting. So that's definitely coming in with that lighten your load message there. I'm seeing some of those, as well as the healthy habits. So let's go ahead and unpack some of these messages for your week. So first off, let's just get this lighten your load out of the way here, because I feel like you guys might just be feeling not necessarily overwhelmed. You might be, but I just think you might have been going a little too hard on something. I think you're just possibly putting a lot of work and effort into something, and you feel like you're just holding too much. You're trying to accomplish too many things in 1 week, and the reason why you might be taking on too many things is because you want to have the control over them. I'm a culprit of this myself. I find myself doing this where I don't feel like someone else can do what I can do, because I logically know that I am really good at this thing, and I don't necessarily always trust that someone else is going to be as good as I am at something, which is really irrational. It's better to just teach someone how to do what you'd like them to do than trying to and just in general, just let go of that control. They are just as capable of doing what you think you are capable of doing, and, just pass that torch every once in a while. Keep things a little bit more simple because you're taking on too much. Let other people come in, mentor them so they can help you. This can be like maybe you feel like your child isn't ready enough yet to do certain chores around the house or help out, but they are. You just have to give them the chance. And this can go with workplaces, this can go with households, this can really apply to anyone in this situation. I just feel like you guys need to lighten your load, keep things a little bit more simple, and let go of some of that control that you might be feeling over situation or these specific tasks that you feel like you may be the only one that can do. So that's really important coming in for your week there. But you also have this page of voices, as well as sort of more airy energy with this Rider, and then the Muse of voices, which all have to talk about the way that we communicate. So I think you might be communicating with new people this week, possibly networking or talking to new people, making new friendships, especially with this Lovers card. It's giving me sort of the idea that you guys might be looking for a new romantic relationship or possibly platonic as well. This can be really strong friendships that you might be looking into as well. But the Lovers is talking about finding an equal within you, finding that something that's some sort of relationship that's going to really flourish and bloom versus just be something sort of to pass. It's going to give you information and help you out there. Maybe even open you up or help you lighten your load in a way too, finding those new relationships and people who can help you out. But you have here the Muse of voices, so this makes me think some of you might be interested in dance or flowing movement or music in some way, because the Muse talks about things that something about the air element that is really creatively sparking you, really getting you, they have a muse in you. So I feel like you are really excited about maybe a new song coming out, an album that's possibly coming out, or you make your own music. This can also talk about something that you are doing with your way of communicating, that maybe you're trying out new things. There's a lot of possibilities there, and that's why it's a muse. It hits people with different ways. But because we also have this page of voices, which it's a more spunky page. I feel like she is, she may be logical and she has a lot of logic, but she's more spunky. She tries things out. She may put logic to things, but that doesn't mean that she can't be creative and try something new. So you have dancing. You might be interested in trying out new types of music. Anything like that. I'm really getting a lot of music messages today within some of your guys' piles, especially with pile 2 as well as this one. But the other thing with the Lovers is maybe if you are looking or manifesting someone into your life right now, or trying to have that self-care with yourself, because this can also represent strengthening your own relationship with yourself. I think that some of you are, deepening that right now. And you're looking at things more logically. You're looking at yourself and thinking, maybe I am capable of trying this new hobby or trying this new thing that I hadn't considered before. So to keep things more simple, you might just be trying something new in that. But then you also have the Rider, which again has more to do. They are a bard. My mom was walking upstairs and I don't know why it made a weird creak and it totally just jump scared me. Don't know if you guys caught that, but with the Rider, they are like a bard, and as you can see, they are carrying this harp here. So I think that music is a big part of your week in some way. Maybe it is having to do with the way that you communicate with someone. Maybe you're sending playlists to someone in a flirty sort of way, or you're interested in something like that. Maybe getting a little old school, doing something where you create a playlist for someone, or maybe you are sending messages that way, because the Rider also talks about speedy messages from one place to another, sending messages. So I think you might be sending music, starting new music, something to do with music. There's a big, heavy thing about music here. I'm honestly feeling like I want to pull one more card, but I think I'm going to hold off and instead oh, this is probably why. I feel like I was missing a message. So here it is, build healthy habits. So with dancing, maybe you're wanting to learn a new workout routine or something like that using dancing, or maybe building better healthy habits with your self-care practices, which sometimes for me, when I was, trying to have better self-care with my body image, a lot of it came down to when I was dancing, alone in my room, doing my thing, really feeling the excitement of just the music around me. That was when I felt the most self-care and self-love within myself. So maybe you guys might be interested in trying something else with that, but also with the lovers, you guys, like I said, could be sending playlists, could be communicating in that specific way, or building better healthy habits within your relationships. And maybe that is just starting out a little bit lighter, especially since this is a lot of air energy and lighten your load. Maybe it's just time to start a less serious relationship with someone. And that might help you grow as a person. So that's another message there. There's a lot of different messages, so some of these might be resonating more or less between some of you. Sometimes I feel like some piles fully have one whole message and everybody really feels resonated to that, but I feel like some of you guys might have to pick and find out which parts are for you specifically. Maybe because a lot of you guys chose this pile, which I have a feeling might have happened. So let's go ahead and move on to your charms so we can get a little bit more information for each of you and see what is going on for your week. Some more information. Who doesn't love that? So let's go ahead and look. So group three, we're looking for any information, energy, or insights for group three, their week ahead. Group three. Okay, so let's see what you have going on, because you have a very small amount of messages here, despite how many messages we had going on in the last pile here, in your previous cards here. So we'll just see what we've got and work with that. Actually, this one was the correct direction. Don't know why I picked that one up, but let's go ahead and zoom you in so you can get a better look at what's going on here. So we don't have a lot of messages, which happens sometimes. Maybe it's because you have so many going on, like I was saying here already here with music and different. You guys have more of an energy to your week, I'm feeling, versus like specific happenings happening within your week. So that's really interesting to look into. But first off, in your focus ring, you have the spike, the draft charm, and the bear paw charm. And the bear paw charm, depending on the way that it falls, one represents the hibernating bear and one represents the bear more on guard or, moving forward on something. They have a goal in mind. They're looking for something. So I think you guys are more on the prowl, right? Like you guys are looking out for maybe someone new to talk to. Someone new to pursue. So that's might be coming in there for some of you, a more light relationship there. And then you also have the spike. So this makes me think that the spike represents something interrupting, something quick and fast and interrupting a jab, So maybe someone's not feeling, up to you having maybe a more casual relationship, and that's okay. Just don't take it too personally, and then, just keep on going on. That's okay. You're going to be gaining new perspective through all of this, through this new experience, through trying these new things out with your music or through dancing or through a new relationship here, because you have the draft charm, and the draft represents being, seeing from a higher perspective, a new perspective. You're looking much higher. You're looking at things in a better light than you did before. You're lightening your load, keeping things more simple, right? Especially with the way that you communicate too. like I was saying, some of you might be trying out a playlist or something like that, which is more old school, trying out older types of communicating, because they are a different kind of perspective that people don't normally try out, and I think you'd be interested in some of that. So also because what made me think of that too is because the way that drafts have to communicate is very different than humans, because we're able to just speak. But drafts have such long necks that they actually don't have vocal cords, so they're not able to speak. So you might feel like you have to communicate in a new way, especially with the type of relationships that we have nowadays with Zoom calls and Skype and all these kinds of things. You're having to get a little bit more creative with the way that you communicate, which I was already getting from the Page of Voices, which is all about new ways of communication. So I see that coming in for some of you. So you just might be, manifesting or creating this new relationship in a very different way than you are used to, but not necessarily a bad way or a hard way, just a new way. Letting go of something that you can't control. So we may not be able to control our situation, but you're building other habits, new habits, and keeping it a little more simple, because I feel like communication sometimes back then with letter writing and things could be a little bit more simple. You also have here the sad heart. So you may have gone through a difficult relationship before, which I think had to tie in with that lighten your load, lighten your space, lighten the way that you communicate, because you may have had to go through a very difficult heartbreak in the past, and maybe you're just finally starting to become more flexible to a relationship, platonic or otherwise, again. So this can even be a new relationship with yourself, a new relationship with a family member, a new friendship, or a new romantic relationship. So take it as it resonates for each of you. You also have the poppy, which always makes me think of the emperor in tarot, which the emperor is very strategic. They're very, like I was saying earlier with the lighten your load, I feel like you just might be trying to control too many of the elements of the things that you have, especially with the world on your back and the craziness of the things that are happening in the world right now. You just might be feeling like too much of that is on your plate, too much of it is in your mind. You can't control those things. But the emperor is about making a clear plan, being very strategic about that plan versus trying to just go head on in a situation. So maybe utilize some of that energy in your week this week. You also have here, in just after the last quarter moon and heading towards the new moon, you have here at the gibbous moon, the waning gibbous to be more specific, the positivity star. So I think you're heading towards a new cycle, because we have a cycle over here that is more positive. So like we said, there might have been something that happened in the past that wasn't so positive before, but you're heading into a new cycle and you're breaking those bad habits. You're breaking the cycle, you're changing things, you're maybe even having a clearer plan on how you're going to go after some of these things versus maybe some of the habits that you've reflected on in the past. So especially because you had it right next to the 5 charm, which represents like the 5 of wands, so conflict. I think you're going to be breaking those conflicts within your relationships this week, or at least reflecting on them so you can make a clear plan on how you might go about these different relationships within your life that you are manifesting forward. So with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and recap for you group 3, because you had a variety of messages, and I feel like we need to just do a little recap, talk back in on it. So you are definitely starting a new type of communication within your life, because you not only have the writer, which represents messages, a messenger, and they are also a bard, which represents more of that air energy. You also have the Muse of Voices, so you're starting something new. And then you also have the Lovers, the Page of Voices, so that has got a lot to do with air. So I just think that you guys have a lot of new types of communication that you have to just keep a little bit more simple, have a more open mind about, kind of reflect on what you've done in the past and the way that you communicate with people, and build better habits and how you do so. Because I think that that is going to be really beneficial to you, so you can gain this new perspective that you need in the way that you communicate. A lot of it has to do with just like the energy of communication versus specifics there. You have the light in your load, so I think that you just might be feeling the wave of the world right now on your shoulders, and you don't know how to, there's just too much sucking you in, and it's just, if you're on social media a lot, as that's another type of form of or way of communicating, then maybe it's just time to put some things off on your social media account, put it aside for a bit, use it less often. And like I said, you might be finding new, simpler ways, older fashioned ways of communicating through letter writing, through sending playlists, things like that, to someone that you're maybe interested in platonically or romantically this week. So with all of that said, also you might be taking up more casual relationships. So with all of that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. It was very much more of an energetic reading. Like I said, I always do readings on guidance or insights, but sometimes they have a lot more to do with the energy that we're exuding within the week versus very specific points. So I'd be really interested to know if this type of energy comes forth a lot in your week, and in what ways. Let me know how it resonated, if there's specific charms or specific cards that really stuck out to you. I'm always interested and love that type of feedback, so let me know in the comments down below. It's always a really respectful and lovely community down there in the comments, so feel free to. And also be sure to like this video if you liked it, as well as like the reading. It really does help this channel grow and flourish, and I appreciate it so much. So thank you to those of you who have already liked the video. And lastly, if you're interested in these types of magical readings that I do, so weekly readings every single Monday, as well as timeless and monthly blessings videos, please be sure to subscribe and join this community that is growing on here, because I'd love to have you guys. So please consider subscribing. It would be really awesome to have you guys here and to read for you. So with all of that said, I really truly hope you guys have a wonderful week, and that you find some new ways of communicating, new ways of playing around with music possibly, and maybe even manifesting someone new in your life. So with all of that said, I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!